All right, how we doing? How we doing this wonderful Tuesday? Talk it up Tuesday, Taco Tuesday, Tupac Tuesday. Whatever you Toucan Sam Tuesday, whatever, wherever it may be. Welcome. This is the Fresh and Funky Sports Cast. Here we'll be talking about today. We're gonna go into a little bit of fantasy baseball here. Talk a little bit of baseball. We know the season's coming up here as of April 7th. And officially will start full season. They got the lockout and they got it all handled and situated out. So it's gonna be. So we're gonna go into a little bit of discussing the teams. Some movements of players that move to other teams. So we're definitely gonna get into that. We'll get into some fantasy aspects. We'll definitely get into some picks tonight. NBA. No college basketball obviously tonight, except for the NIT, which we'll break it down those games as well. We'll break down that here. We'll tell you the games that are going to be playing tonight here. In the NBA, there's only five. And we'll talk about some NHL games. Obviously, we'll get into some spring training games. We'll talk, so we're going to spend some time today discussing baseball a little bit here. And, it's a sport that probably I don't have I would say the greatest grasp on, but, I do like, I do my own type of, scouting reports, may you say here, as far as guys here. Like I might be a little bit higher on guys that they're lower on, or I might be a little bit higher on certain other dudes that they're more lower on. But in all, I'd like to just see how people kind of just what is everybody's top 10? What is everybody's, you kind of, I mean, it's just like if everybody had a playlist and you had a playlist and it could just, by putting all these songs together, it could basically tell you about someone's life in a sense, but, it's supposed to be a little bit, a personality, you pick players, that basically fit your personality or fit what you're trying to make as far as a team. And that's what I like about fantasy. People go, well, you're not some GM. Well, it gives you the fantasy. It gives you the choice to become a GM, to where you can, draft some players, and hey, maybe you can try to trade and get players that you didn't get, and maybe somebody might want to, whether you trade them whether you trade them straight up or you try to finesse somebody. It's part of the game. It's part of the game. It happens in real life, and come on now. I mean, who hasn't? What team hasn't been finessed out of a trade? Let's be honest. But that's what I like about fantasy. It gives me the choice to be creative about how I'm building how I'm building my team, and what am I building my team around? Am I building it around solid players? Am I building it a balanced team of having balanced pitching and hitting? Or I'm just trying to get, the strongest hitters I can get, and then just solid pitching. Doesn't matter if they're aces or they're just, guys that just basically happen to, you know, come on the scene, and that's what happens every year. We all try to figure out, or most of the experts, I don't consider myself an expert. I'm just somebody that likes to watch the game and kind of likes to try to, basically on, other assumptions and basically on opportunities. That's where I kind of see how I like to go, especially when I'm in the later rounds of fantasy drafting here. I like to kind of draft higher value players. So there might be younger guys and guys that maybe they might not start the season, and hell, they might even get, pushed down. But you know what? You need those type of players when it comes to the end of the fantasy season to help you make your push in your run, because sometimes not everybody, everybody makes it through 162 games. I mean, how could you? You'd have to be freaking RoboCop Iron Man to fucking, not be swayed or hurt or injured. I mean, 162 games, that's a hell of a lot of games, and not to expect to be banged up or hurt or just tired or just, yeah. I mean, hey. I mean, people think 82 games of NBA is bad. Yeah, try playing 162 freaking baseball games. See if that don't tire your ass out and wear on you. I mean, it does. It does to me. Like, and I'll be honest with you. If you get into fantasy baseball it's gonna be long and it's gonna be treacherous. You're gonna probably like fucking hate it, and you're like, oh fuck this shit. I never want to play this game again. Oh, this is terrible. Oh, what the hell? Fuck. I'm just cautioning those that want to play fantasy baseball. It does. You have to play a lot of games, and if you're not the type of person that has that attention or span for that time, then you mean it's gonna be rough. Don't expect to be really good unless like for some reason you got the best. You ended up with the best players, and only need to change out a few players, and then boom, you're in like Flynn. But hey, it doesn't always work that way. But first, we'll get into some games here. We'll run down the games, and then we'll get into the breakdowns. So at four West for Western here, we have the 4 p.m. out the West Coast, 7 p.m. East Coast. We have St. Bonaventure taking on Xavier at Madison Square Garden tonight. And then we have the other game at Madison Square Garden. We have Washington State, the Cougars, taking on the Texas A&M, the Aggies. So the winner of these two teams is going to end up playing each other for the NIT championship. So we have Fresno State basically playing Coastal Carolina for the what do they call it, the basketball classic here. The CBI was already determined. So I mean, if I'm giving an honest read on either team, any of the four teams here, the first two teams here, St. Bonaventure, they're a team. They're going to be a tough team here. So is Xavier. Both teams are in the same conference, the Atlantic 10. They know each other. It's going to be a knockdown, drag out battle here. So I'm going to say if I'm going here to take a team here, a side here, I would probably I'd take St. Bonnie's here. I think not that it's a strong read. I mean, I think they're a tough team. They were in the NCAA tournament last year, and they just so happened to find themselves in the tournament this year. Same with Xavier. Usually a team that's in the March Madness dancing here. So going to be a solid game. Definitely low scoring. I would assume. And then the second game here, we got Washington State. We got Texas A&M. Texas A&M, probably a team that a lot of people thought should have been in the tournament this year, but got kind of snubbed. And then you got Washington State, a Pac-12 team that nobody really expected, them to play very well here, but they have, So I expect this to be a pretty tough game here, but A&M I think is going to end up edging out Washington State here. I don't think Washington State, ultimately has all the super res talent to shut down the Texas A&M here tonight. So I would lean St. Bonnie in the first game and Texas A&M in the second game here. All right. Now that we got that here situated here, let's go to we'll go to the NBA here. Run down the NBA games for you. All right. First game here, starting at 7 Eastern time here, is the big game of the night. Here, the marquee matchup. Both teams are 46 and 28. I'm talking about the Milwaukee Bucks on the road going into the city of brotherly love to play the Philadelphia 76ers. So this is definitely going to be a dogfight game here. This is definitely a dogfight. The game is one. The Sixers are favored by a point here, which they should be because they're at home. But it's going to be a dogfight game here. I mean, this is a tough game here. I mean, I've not gave my bets out yet here for the NBA because I'm still deciding, especially this game here. I mean, I like Giannis and what he's done with the Milwaukee Bucks, and even when they lost, they gave up in that trade. They got rid of Dante DiVincenzo and some other guys here. I think they're still a feisty, tough team, and they're defending champion. So, but I really like James Harden being there with Joel Embiid. I like those two, the way they can work off each other, and I just think if they can get these other parts like Maxi and Tobias Harris to really get their engines going, I think they're going to be a real tough team to take on in the playoffs. That's for sure, and especially tonight here. All right, the next game we got, same at 7 Eastern. We have the Chicago Bulls on the road taking on the Washington Wizards. So you could say this is the contrast of Michael Jordan's teams here, where he played for the Bulls and he also played for the Wizards here. So we got the Bulls -4 again here. They were -4 against the Knicks, but the Knicks got the better of them and won by 5. So, but I mean, I wouldn't be so sure to write the Bulls off tonight here. But I mean, the Wizards, they're one of those young teams here, without Bradley Beal here, but now they got Porzingis. They got some other core parts here. I think if they had some good guard play and maybe some applicable small forwards, 3D guys, I think would be a they'd be a different team here. All right, so we got 7:30 Eastern. We have the Detroit Pistons taking on the Brooklyn Nets. So Kyrie Irving again will be playing at home for the second time here. First game that he played, it was against Charlotte, and they did not do so well. But I figure, Brooklyn -13.5. So, oof. I mean, that's gonna be rough. But I mean, I wouldn't count that out here. A hungry Nets team here against a Pistons team that, let's be honest, they're not built. They're not built to, be a contender playoff team here this year. But if they can get some players there in Detroit, I think they could get back to the playoffs here sometime soon if they get the right players. That is, and keep the right coaching around these guys. So definitely, then we have one of the games on me on TNT here at 7:30 Eastern. Here we have the Los Angeles Lakers taking on the Dallas Mavericks in Dallas here. Obviously, we have no LeBron James is playing tonight, but we want to get some confirmation of that here. We're gonna get some confirmation to make sure that AD was supposed to practice tonight or today, so we're gonna get some. Like I said, we're gonna get some confirmation here. See what is going on here. All right, well, we got Giannis's game time decision here. And what's Giannis? Giannis has got a knee, so he's probable. So he's just got knee soreness here. He's missed 2 of the last 4 games, which is okay. So he's kind of, they haven't really, they let him kind of rest here a bit. So that matchup is really going to be tight. And then you got LeBron here. And LeBron is expected to miss tonight's game after his sprained left ankle here. All right. All right, Anthony Davis is not supposed to. So Anthony Davis and LeBron are out. So you're definitely probably gonna fade. You're definitely gonna fade the Lakers tonight here. I mean, I say that, and then you got Paul George here. All right, so I mean they're sitting in the 8th spot here. Paul George, he's still questionable to play tonight. So maybe if you see that there, I mean the Clippers here. Hey man, the guys that have been playing with him, I mean Paul should be out there and be like, hey man, you guys have been balling. Him and Kawhi, they should be like, hey man, you guys are balling your tails off out there. Hell, the fucking Lakers, and they're even ahead of the Lakers, and that's just that's a different story in itself here. And I'm not clowning on the people that want to say LeBron's the GOAT. If you want to say LeBron is the GOAT of this generation and this era of basketball, yes. But to say LeBron is the greatest of all times, I just I mean, yeah, he didn't. Yeah, he didn't take no time off of basketball, but I mean, it's just we're judging two different types of era of basketball where the rules are different, the eras were different. But then we kind of hold that against guys like Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain, like, oh well, they just played against a bunch of slow white guys. Well okay, yeah. And it's just like and I mean, I'm not trying to take nothing away from LeBron. I mean, I've seen LeBron do some hella miraculous things throughout his career. You know what I mean? But to say he's the greatest player of all time, that's you know, to me, he's got a. I mean, right now his team's sitting in whatever place and he's hurt. And that's what happened with Kobe. What if Kobe wasn't hurt his last 2 3 years in the league? We would have saw a different Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant would have probably, but when sometimes when you get old, your body doesn't hold up all that way. I mean, and he's a physical specimen. I'm not going to say that LeBron James, just get bullied around if he played back in the days, but I mean, the way that I've seen LeBron hit the ground and just kind of back in the day, that shit wouldn't even fly, dude. I mean, it's just, you know, two different eras of basketball. And look at LeBron's doing right now. He's not even playing now. And his team, and it just, the thing that people would say, oh, but Jordan never won nothing after Pippen left. Well, and Pippen never won anything afterwards. Yeah, he went with the Trailblazers and they went to the playoffs and everything, but they never went to no championships after he left Michael Jordan. I mean, it's all this. We want to sit here and talk about players like, oh well, this motherfucker wasn't shit, and well he was only shit because this guy. Well, yeah, because when a lot of guys played together, they were good, and if they weren't playing around those type of guys or those, then who knows if they would have been the players they are. You know what I mean? We can sit here and play what ifs all fucking day long, but that's not the reality. The reality is the reality. So we have to deal with what is, and so And the Lakers, man, they got to get a win tonight, man. I mean, even though the guys are hurt, they got to get a win because I mean, I'm telling you, San Antonio's creeping back in there here, and you got the Pelicans. They're playing at a high level. I mean, it's just a shame that they don't have Zion and he can't be healthy or whatever. They at least can get Brandon Ingram back healthy and all that. They got you got CJ and you got Jose now. I mean, you got two good, plus you got Devontae Graham. I mean, then you have Vucevic here. And you got Jackson Hayes, and you got Herbert Jones. You got some players down there now in the Orleans. Hey, not saying they make the playoffs, but hey, they're gonna. They just they have a chance to get in the playing game at least, and don't think the teams would be not like primed to knock out the Lakers here. And then what do you say to that? People that say that well Michael Jordan got knocked out, he got beat the most times in the first round. Well, yeah. Well, it was like they act like Michael Jordan got beat by a bunch of scrubs. His you know Michael Jordan lost to a bunch of scrubs in the first round. He got beat by the likes of Isaiah Thomas, Larry Bird. I mean, it wasn't like those guys. And that's what I kind of hate about some of the younger generation. It's almost like disrespect of like, oh, well, and I'm not saying that, man, they gotta suck the dick of the old timers or any of that shit, but just appreciate that these guys paved the way so motherfuckers nowadays can be able to have a sport and be able to have it to where that these guys are up at a higher echelons level now. It's not oh man, the younger guys can't beat the older guys or whatever the hell it is. I mean, the only time you can do that is if you do some type of simulation in a video game type simulation. Because you can't just have these guys out there because a lot of the guys some of them are alive, some of them are gone, and it's just how would you know? Like how would you. I mean, it's like a pissing contest. It's like who. Oh, my dick's bigger because of this. Oh, everybody's got to always try to outpiss somebody else. Any injuries to be noted of here? Ooh, okay. So Kyle Kuzma, he's out against the Bulls today, so that's. Then we got Gobert here, who was scratched just prior to the Jazz loss. He's questionable here. Oh man, that's crazy. Gobert here, so I don't know, man. Then you got Zach LaVine here. He's questionable here, so. All right, Norm Powell. Well, he's not gonna probably be ready for the season here. All right, anybody else? Bogdanovich, he's questionable here. Bogdan Bogdanovich. All right, he's back here. So they might let Caruso take a night off here. All right. Hassan Whiteside is out here versus. All right. All right. That's things to note here to know. So we got the Lakers and the Mavericks here. So definitely, obviously, no LeBron and no AD. So gonna be tough here for the Lakers. Ooh, minus 11.5. Whew. And then we have the Jazz and the Clippers here. I mean, the Jazz minus 1.5. That's gonna be tough there. That's gonna be tough. I'm telling you right now. It's gonna be tough here. All right, go do this here. Sit on down here. Sit on down once I get down into this. Talking into this fantasy baseball here. But I'll have to make my bet obviously, and then my fantasy basketball here. So Jazz and the Clippers. I mean, it should be a pretty good game, especially if Rudy Gobert's not gonna play, and Hassan. I mean, that helps the Clippers out here, and even if Paul George doesn't play, so very interesting matchups there, to say the least. Let's go into some spring training here. Get some spring training score updates here. Oh, top of the third here. It's tied at 2 here between the Diamondbacks and the Chicago Cubs here. All right, it's 2 outs. 2 outs, no one on here. We at the top of the third here. We have the Milwaukee Brewers leading 2-0 over the Cleveland Guardians here. And those of you that know who the Cleveland Guardians are, they are formerly known as the Cleveland Tribe. The Cleveland Indians have changed their name to the Guardians out of respect to the Native American. Now the heritage of having derogatory team names. And then the Giants here in the bottom of the second here. It's 4-0 here on the Padres here. So Giants are swinging the bat today. The bottom of the third, it's 1-1 between the Cincinnati Reds and the Texas Rangers. We got the top of the fourth here, and it's 1-0 Rockies at home over the Angels. We got the Royals up in the top of the fourth, 1-0 over the Mariners. Then we had finals here. The Astros beating the Nationals 3-1. Justin Verlander gets the win here. Then we have the Pittsburgh Pirates beating the Red Sox 6-2. Then we have the Rays doubling up the Twins 4-2. Then we had the Yankees, man. The bats came alive for the Yankees today. 14-2 over the Phillies here. And then we have still to come here at 6:40 Eastern, the New York Mets and the Miami Marlins. And 9:05 Eastern, 6:05 Pacific, we have the Oakland Athletics taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers in Phoenix, Arizona. Down, spring training down there here. So, like I said, we got some games here. We have two NIT games going on tonight. We have the NBA. We just ran down some of this spring training. Let's give you some hockey now here. We'll give you some hockey before we get into this. We'll start talking uh, fantasy baseball. I mean, all right. All right, so we have the first games starting at 7 Eastern here. We have the Toronto Maple Leafs taking on the Boston Bruins. The Carolina Hurricanes. They won pretty big yesterday here. They're taking on Tampa Bay Lightning here. Then the next game after that, we have the Montreal Canadiens taking on the Florida Panthers. Obviously, the Panthers are a lot better team than the Canadiens. Then we have still the same 7 o'clock hour here. We have the Rangers and the Pittsburgh Penguins. That'd be a tough matchup there. Then we have the battle of the New York Islanders taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Interesting battle there. And then we have the Ottawa Senators taking on the Nashville Predators here. Interesting contest there. We have the Philadelphia Flyers taking on the Minnesota Wild. The Wild are playing really well this year here, 40-20 here, so definitely a solid team here. Then you have the Avalanche taking on the Calgary Flames here. The Avalanche are 46-14, and the Flames are 40-17. So both teams are, somewhat decent here. And then last but not least, you have the Dallas Stars and the Anaheim Ducks. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have 9 hockey games here. So a lot more than the NBA, that's for sure. All right, so let's see here. See if any lines have changed here. And like I said, we can. Well, yeah, because we got about 2 hours. We're gonna have about 2 hours till tip off, so I already know. So if I start blabbing about fantasy sports, I'm not gonna. So all right, we're gonna get this run down really quick here, really quick and painless here. As painless as possible here. All right, so we got this NBA parlay. We got 5 teams here, but we can make a deal here. Our NBA parlay here, 329. Always make sure I know the date so I know what the teams are. Milwaukee. We have Milwaukee and we have the Sixers. I love to take Giannis and the Bucks, but I gotta take the 70. I take the 76ers on the money, or not the money line, the spread here. We're taking 76ers minus the 1 here tonight. They got to at least win by 1. I was going back and forth with it. Then I just noticed that Giannis does have a knee injury, but they do have Chris Middleton back here, so that helps a lot for the Bucks here too as well. So I think that helps them a lot. So as long as Giannis and Middleton are going a little bit, maybe some of the other guys. But they are playing in Philadelphia, and it's tough. Philly plays tough at home. Yeah, and they do kind of play a little bit. So I'd like the -1 with the Sixers. Bulls yesterday. I went money line Bulls. I went money line Bulls, and it came to bite me in the butt. And I'm a Bulls fan here, and I still have faith in this team. Right? If it was last year's team, it's a different story. This year's team, it's a different story. We got the right guys, and a lot of guys have been kind of hurt and haven't been healthy. And if we had a real healthy, solid team, I think it'd be a totally different story. But yeah, the Bulls, after a after back to back here, I mean, played the uh, played the Knicks tough here, and I think with Kyle Kuzma hurt, no Bradley Beal. I mean, they still, Wizards still play pretty tough basketball here. So, but in saying that here, I'm gonna take the Bulls. I'm gonna take the Bulls on the -3.5. I'm gonna stay on the trend of the spread here and take the Bulls. The Bulls gotta win. The Bulls gotta win by 4. The Bulls gotta win tonight by 4 here. So, all right, let's go to the next game here. We got the Lakers and the Mavericks here. Um, um, oh man, without LeBron and AD, I mean they still got Russ. They still have Carmelo. They have some decent, but oh man, plus 11.5. Oh, woo. Oh man, I don't know. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I had the Lakers. I had the Lakers. I had Lakers money line when they played the Pelicans, and then they just blew it. So I mean, no AD, no LeBron. I mean, that really hurts. That really hurts a lot here. But can Dallas cover the double-digit spread though? I mean, I know they've done it before. They beat people before like that here. I think they got Jordan Hucker or whatever. Is he playing? I assume he's gonna be playing. Oh man, I'm gonna go with the under. I'm gonna go with the under 219 and a half here. I just think here. I don't know. I'm not a fan of taking the Mavericks to win by 12 or the Lakers to cover the 11 and a half. Or I like the under here. I think that's pretty much a safe bet in that game here. Knowing that there's no LeBron or AD, and it's gonna be tough. All right, so we got the Pistons versus the Nets here. All right, we got the Nets here. We got Kyrie and Kevin Durant here, and them. Can they win by 14? And can the Pistons, can the Pistons cover the 13 and a half here? Um, I mean, I mean, Who knows, man? They could probably. I mean, Nets probably could do it. The Nets could probably just go out there and. Just to me, I'm like not flabbergasted, but I'm just like, eh. Oh man. All right. All right. Kyrie's waiting on his. All right. All right. Yeah, and I think this time, yeah. I mean, Joe Harris is out for a bit here, and apparently right hip impingement here. Been keeping Marcus Aldridge out here. Seth Curry here, he's got left ankle, so hopefully he'll play. I mean, Brooklyn's won every matchup, so they're trying to go for the sweep here. Definitely always a lot closer when they're playing in Detroit. Well, last time, yeah, it was still close last time. They won by 12. So I mean, they covered. I mean, they covered, but they also lost by 26 this time in Brooklyn. So yeah, yeah, they put up 104 and then 109, 197, and they put up. I mean, they put up numbers. I mean, they've only put up under 100 like one time recently, and that was 25th. And see, they're putting up, 120, 110. They put up 120 against Memphis. Then it's Charlotte here. They went 129 here. Yeah. So I'm gonna go. This is gonna be my double downer here. I'm gonna go under 233, and we're gonna take the minus for the for the Brooklyn Nets here. And then we got the Utah Jazz and the Clippers here. We got it's basically a pick 'em. I mean, I won last time when the Jazz was a pick 'em here. And we'll do these last two here. We'll do the Jazz and Clippers over 217.5 here. So we do 7. There we go. We'll just do those here. We'll make it an 8-teamer thing. Yeah. We're doing it this way here. All right. So we got the 76ers minus the 1, We got the Bulls minus 3.5 here. Then we're taking Nets money line here. Taking Nets money line here. Oh no. Oh yeah, we're doing. Oh yeah. My bad. We're doing the Mavs money line here. 700. And we're doing a team total under 219.5 in the Lakers Mavericks. All right. Then we got the Nets here. Money line minus 1,100. And then we also got the team total under 233.5 in the Pistons Nets game. And then we took the Jazz pick'em spread, and then we did the team total over 217.5 between the Jazz and Clippers. All right, so that 8-teamer right there. Eight-teamer there. If we put in the dollar here, put our dollar in here. All right. $59.36 here. All right, so repeat again here. We'll repeat the bet again for those that just joined us. Made this NBA bet here tonight. There's no other games I'm fucking with. Not hockey, not anything else. Just sticking to NBA, 5 games. And we bet it this way here in a parlay format. I like doing it in parlay format. I only bet $1 here. I don't bet beyond my means. So I took the 76ers my first leg. 76ers minus the 1 on the spread. The second leg, I took the Chicago Bulls minus the 3.5 on the spread. That's the second leg. The third leg is the Dallas Mavericks money line. Fourth leg will be the team total under 219.5 between the Lakers and the Mavericks. Then we have, as far as the fifth is the Nets money line minus 1,100. And then we did the team total under 233.5 with the Pistons and Nets. And then we did the Jazz pick'em on the spread and the team total over 217.5 in the Jazz and Clippers. And so with those 8 bets here, count them up: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Count them up: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those eight bets, that 8-legged parlay bet here at $1 will cash me out here if they all cover and win at $59.36. So not a bad parlay thing to get through and get done here, but yeah, we're into some baseball now. Let's get into baseball news here. We're gonna look at the fantasy here, and yeah, I'm in a league with some of my friends here, and I'm gonna read you off my lineup here. I mean, I got Keibert Ruiz, He's a catcher from Washington, the Nationals. He was with the Dodgers organization for a bit. Then he got traded. Let's see. Anthony Rizzo was, was drafted to Cub, and now he's on the Yankees as last year. Now this year as well. Got him playing first base for me. I got second base for me. I got Whit Merrifield. He also has a right field option. So I like Whit Merrifield. He's a great guy. He can steal bases. He's got consistent hitter. So gives me a good shot there in as far as the infield. You know, got a veteran here at third base here, Nolan Arenado. He's always been a sure fantasy option for me every year. And as long as he stays healthy, that is, when he's banged up, it's not a very good fantasy year for him. But I still value him a lot because he brings a lot to the table. He's on the St. Louis Cardinals. They just got Albert Pujols to take out. He wants his last season of baseball to play with St. Louis Cardinals, the team that he was drafted to, obviously. So then we got shortstop. I got Jazzy Chisholm Jr. He can also play second base here, so I like him. He's young outfielder last year, his rookie campaign. He was able to steal bases. He was able to get home runs. He was able to get doubles, RBIs. So I need that from the young guy, just like Whit Merrifield here. And then left field here, I have JD Martinez, but he can also be put in my DH slot. JD Martinez, like I said, he's another veteran like Nolan Arenado that has been a staple for whatever team he's played on. He's obviously on the Red Sox. He's productive, so I definitely need that, especially from a veteran's standpoint. Need to mix some vets with some young guys here. Then we also at center field we have Brian Buxton. You can't play any other but center field. I like Brian Buxton a lot. He just injuries is another concern I have with Brian Buxton here is just staying healthy. If he can stay healthy, he's very productive. But when he's banged up and he's in and out of the lineup and keeps getting hurt kind of a little bit, that definitely hurts his fantasy and obviously his real life team as well. Right field was my first pick of the draft here. He plays right and he plays center field. Mookie Betts. So I value Mookie Betts a lot. He's a great fantasy asset. Obviously, he's somebody that can carry your team off by himself. So I needed somebody that I could trust and go to and lead that in it. So then I got my first outfielder here. You can play outfield, first base, left field, and center field. So you can play anywhere in the outfield. And that's Pavin Smith for the Arizona Diamondbacks. I believe he was a young player. I believe he got just his first set of action last year, and he did fairly well. I think he's somebody I could see possibly in a sleeper in my be a fantasy sleeper that can maybe do some productivity for the Diamondbacks here with the roster that they have. I also have a couple other Diamondbacks I have on my this fantasy team here, so I'm thinking highly of him. And then we got another guy that I think is very highly of from the Chicago Cubs, right fielder, Shiseiya Sasaki. Shiseiya. So he's a young, obviously Japanese player that's come over, and now he's going to be able to play and be productive here. So I like productivity. I like young guys that are going to be relevant here. Guys that we'll see definitely. I got a lot of guys that definitely have high strikeout rates, strike out a lot here. So, but I just hope that I got enough power mixed with enough. So my DH, I got Seth Beer. He's going to be the DH here for the Diamondbacks here. I figured he would be somebody solid. Him and JD could switch off. That way, if I ever need to use that left field position for somebody else. So we are. And I got two utility players. I got Josh Rojas, plays shortstop, second base, and right field for the Diamondbacks. I just feel like Diamondbacks have some valuable players here, valuable young guys. I think not a lot of people are gonna value them or see them as value, and maybe they do, maybe they don't pan out, but at least I know I can always use them as somebody like, hey, if they don't do very well, I can always either trade them off or maybe even pick up somebody off the waiver wire that will solidify what I need for my team. And then we got Haesung Kim. He plays shortstop, second base, and third base. So I think he'll be playing. He'll be filling in for Fernando Tatis. So we'll be seeing some of him shortly. Then on my bench, I got Adley Rauchman here. He's got a torn tricep, so he might start the year on the IR injured list. But at least I could put him on the IL, and then I could go pick up another catcher here, so maybe another sleeper catcher here in the meantime until he gets fully healthy. But I think he's gonna be productive. I think him and Ruiz here, two guys that I'm trying two different fantasy catchers this year. I normally get Buster Posey and I get Yadier Molina, but I didn't pick Yadi Molina, and Buster Posey is retired. So I got Lamont Wade Jr. He helped me last year towards the end of the fantasy year, so I figured I'd pick him up this year. He can play first, left field, and right. Then I got Kevin Smith. He's gonna be the third baseman for the A's. I figured, what the hell? I need to pick somebody from the A's here. And then I pick up Gavin Sheets here. I think he's gonna be a solid DH here now that Andrew Vaughn is hurt. They got some bats hurt, so hopefully he'll be able to slide in there and get some early at bats here, and maybe get earn himself a little spot here early on. Then as far as pitching, we got Jacob DeGrom. Here's the ace. He'll be starting us off against Washington on the opening day here on the road, so I'm happy about that. And I got Jose Baroas here, the pitcher. He's formerly of the Twins, and he got traded to the Blue Jays. I think he's going to settle in quite nicely up there and pitch very well, whether he's the second or third option. Uh, we got Shane McLaughlin here. I like him as a pitcher last year I had. Yeah. All right. See, with Tyler Glass now, elbow expected to miss most of the upcoming season while recovering from Tommy John surgery. McLennan entered the spring training as the most logical choice to get the ball for the Rays on opening day here. The 2018 first round draft pick is coming off a brilliant rookie campaign. Yeah. Oh, 159. So I mean, he'll be starting. So that means the next. So he'll be starting the next day on the 8th. So that's good. So I know I'll have him as the starter the next. Okay, so that's good right there coming out the gates here as far as. And then I got Jose. I got Jesus Luzardo. Used to play for the A's. He got traded to the Marlins. I think he's gonna be solid. I picked up Marcus Stroman here. I think he's gonna be really really good for the Cubs in their rotation. And then I got my closers here. I got Liam Hendricks from the White Sox here. I got Aroldis Chapman here from the Yankees. I got Gregory Soto here, and then I got Camilo Duvall here. Duvall is kind of my sleeper closer guy here. Much like Jesus Lazardo. Here's my sleeper pitchers here. And then even this guy from the Tigers, I think he could be a sleeper here. But he's supposed to be the closer, so that would make me have three closers. And then maybe this guy, maybe he slips in the closer role or gets some saves. I mean, he had 2 wins, 5 losses, 23 saves. He only had out of those 23, he blew 5 saves here. Obviously, he was the same as Gregory Soto here. He had the same amount of wins and losses. And he had 2 more saves and 2 less blown saves than him. I mean, look at Aroldis Chapman. He was 2 for 4 last year, but he had 35 saves. And he blew 6 of them, so that's too bad. Then you had Liam Hendriks. He was 3 and 5, 34 saves and 5 blown ones. So I mean, I got guys that basically similar wins. They're protected, but if they could get I mean, if those guys can almost mirror the same thing. I mean, these guys can get close to 20 again. Soto and Duvall, and then Liam and them can get close to 30. And maybe even a little bit better here. Because, I mean, basically, if these guys didn't blow the saves they did, I mean, they would have had almost, well, Chapman would have had over 41 saves. So, I mean, and, starting pitchers I have here, obviously DeGrom, he only had, 11 wins, 6 losses. Rose had 12 wins, 10 losses. Shane Macklin had 11 wins, 7 losses. And then Stroman had 11-9 here. So, hey. Settle down there, Turtle. You're getting too crazy in there. But yeah, I think, fantasy-wise, I don't think you could do too bad, I mean, obviously, it's different rankings in ESPN than it is Yahoo. And I just think, I mean, you're seeing a lot of people, should take Shohei Ohtani because, I mean, he's the real deal, man. I mean, people want to say, well, he's got injury problems and all that, but I think he's the real deal. And I've drafted him. I mean, I drafted him last year. I mean, it's amazing how some people they have a love-hate relationship with some of these guys, and like Garcon Stanton here. I had him last year. He did okay, but he wasn't. He wasn't that guy. Like he wouldn't swinging the bat like he used to swing the bat. And if you're okay with that, and you have somebody else, and then you just need him to fill in, then it's not as bad. But if you're just needing him to be your guy, I mean, it's scary. It's scary because some of these guys, you're leaning on them to be your guy. There's 162 games, and chances are the guy's going to be out, a little while, depending on the injuries. And baseball, guys can get hit in the head, guys get hit in the leg or whatever. I mean, it's just pull hamstring. They can. It's so. So durability is definitely key, and then basically, obviously, paying attention to the rosters, knowing who's who's the first man up, but who's also the backups that got opportunity as well, because those guys might end up being valuable players as well, and then so on and so forth if depending on the depth and what happens. So that's what that's what it is here. I just think there's certain teams that cashed in. Obviously, they did really well by bringing players in. I mean, obviously Freddie Freeman's on. He's on the Dodgers now. Dodgers lost Corey Seager, so yeah. I mean, you can't really blame it too much here and there. So with that being said, here we'll continue the fantasy talk tomorrow here. As like I said, we'll have more time to talk about it since we only got NBA going on here right now. We'll have a college this weekend to talk about and deal with. So we'll get the breakdown. We'll break down some of the teams, what teams got the valuable fantasy assets. I mean, obviously some teams got more than others, and Even the teams that, maybe people aren't so highly on, we'll break that down here. We just kind of scratched the surface today a little bit with my team and kind of went through who I think is going to be my fantasy kind of aces and so we'll be back tomorrow on the hump day to keep humping around with some baseball and some NBA. So until next time, folks, take care of yourselves and others. Love yourself even when no one else loves you.